Welcome back to Foeonthefights, guys. Oh my god, Ufc276 is over, and it was a pretty awesome card, if I'm honest. I went 9-2 in my predictions. I'm about to go over every single fight with you guys. Sorry if I sound tired. I slept like an absolute asshole. If you don't know, I have health issues that cause me to not sleep at night. And said 6 hours on the toilet a day. But anyway, this is Foeonthefights, not the Rock Bottom Show where I talk about my misfortunes. This is where we talk about fights in UFC strictly because, oh my God, we had a great night of fights. I got the first fight wrong, which gave me a really bad, ominous feeling that I would fucking just have a horrible night of picks. But I ended up redeeming myself with 9-2 overall, which is pretty good. I would have been 10-2 if Sean O'Malley would have won. But, we'll get to that one. So, first fight of the night, Jessica Rose Clarke versus Julia Stoliarenko. Rose Clarke loses by armbar. Unfortunately, it looks like Jessica might have suffered some ligament damage. I mean, she went to go tap before it even got set in, but this chick was so ruthless, she just fucking snapped it. Even so, and the ref didn't stop it in time. But I had this feeling tonight would be super, I wasn't confident in my picks, and somehow I did pretty decent. But anyway, Stoliarenko with the win, and she really needed that because I think she was coming off of 2 straight losses, and I should have did my research. I kind of went with my bias, and I picked the pretty face, the hot MMA badass version of Stoliarenko. Stoliarenko's the GOAT still, by the way. So yeah, 0-1 starting off the night. And then we have in fight number 2, Macy Barber versus Jessica Eye. This was a pretty competitive one. Macy Barber was simply too much for Jessica Eye. Eye retires after the loss, which I think was a good decision. She fought well, though. It was pretty competitive. She didn't get blown away, but ultimately Macy was too much for her. She was doing way more damage than the seemingly control-focused Jessica Eye. Best wishes for Jessica Eye, though, in her post-fight, in her post-career and life. After career life is what I'm trying to say. Hope the best for her. I know she's had some health issues and she still kept fighting, but time to hang it up for her. So, round of applause for Jessica Eye. And we are 1-1. Moving into fight number 3, Andre Muniz versus Uriah Hall. Got this one, too. Uriah Hall loses a decision to Andre Muniz. This fight was more competitive than I thought it was going to be, but Uriah was mostly on the defensive through most of the fight. I was surprised Muniz wasn't able to get the finish on the ground. He had many opportunities to do so, and Uriah was just a tough veteran in this one. He didn't make it easy for Andre, who looked like a fucking beast ever since he broke Jacare's arm. I mean, this guy's jiu-jitsu is very, very good, but yeah, pretty good matchup and close fight, and we got that one correct with Andre Muniz win by decision. And then we got the next one correct, Ian Garry versus Gabe Greene. This was a good fight. Ian Garry, I think he's 10-0 now, maybe 11-0. This might be wrong on ESPN, but he's still undefeated. Pretty competitive fight with Gabe Greene. He's got a similar build to the guy Ian Garry fought before. Short, stocky, heavy-handed, supposedly good with the grappling, but didn't really get a chance to impose his grappling will on Ian Garry. Ian got cracked bad a couple times, but he proved to have a decent chin. His legs might have went stiff once or twice, DC said. I didn't really see it. So he proved to have a decent chin. And but yeah, Ian gets the win with overall volume, super clean, fast combinations. I mean, he throws some nice straight shots. And his jab, really good. His reach for the weight class is great. Another thing DC pointed out was the patience of Ian Garry. It was impressive to see for such a young fighter. Such a new green fighter in his career, having shown so fucking superb patience. Because he knew when to pounce and when to stay safe, displaying an excellent control of range and striking techniques, with a little bit of success in the grappling too. If I remember correctly, he he held his own in the one or two grappling exchanges we did see. So yeah, Ian Gary got the win there. And then next is my second loss of the night. Only got 2 wrong on the whole card. And this one, I was so sure Brad Tavares would win. Brad Tavares versus Dracus Duplessis. Oh my God. Yeah, I thought Brad would have it with the all-round well-roundedness and just his grit and his iron chin. But somehow, Duplessis managed to stay in there after a huge rookie mistake in the first round. He attempted a lateral throw, lateral drop, whatever. He had the body lock, hands locked, and he went to go for a back throw, and Brad just landed right on top of him. And yeah, that showed his inexperience. And that's another thing I forgot to say. I thought Brad's experience would get him the win, but I mean, this guy Duplessis, he hung in there. He seemed to be too much for Brad on the feet in the second and third round, but Brad is one tough man. Props to both guys for a banger of a fight. I mean, Brad was just beaten and battered. Never took a back step though. He's just a fucking monster. Maybe too tough for his own good. Came in there with the blonde hair, left in there with the red hair, Super Saiyan God. And yeah, Duplessis looked very, very amateurish on his strikes. He'd literally stand straight up with his chin right up in the air and throw these like long combinations where he'd blitz forward. And yeah, I just was hoping Brad would have been able to take advantage of that and step off to an angle and counter with a good hook left or right and do some real damage. But Brad could not seem to land clean on Duplessis, and Duplessis was just landing at will, even though he seemed exhausted. He was kind of flopping all over the place. He hung in there, which was impressive from the young prospect. And I thought the case would be that the older veteran, would show he's on another level in a gatekeeper type position. But no, Duplessis with the win. Then we have Jim Miller versus Cowboy Cerrone. Got this one right, and I get the rest right from here on. Jim Miller with the guillotine victory. And I was sad, but ultimately glad also to see Donald take the gloves off. I said it in the previous videos. I've wanted to see it for a while now, and I'm happy for him. He got to go out on a decent performance and a loss by tap out. We didn't have to see him devastatingly go to sleep or be put to sleep in front of his young boys, who are lucky to have such a legend as their dad, Cowboy Cerrone. Good luck in the movie business, Cowboy, and thanks for all the legendary fights, man. Truly a legend, Hall of Famer without a doubt, and Jim Miller gets the lead for most wins in the UFC. Props to him too. It's great to see this veteran fight with 2 happy endings, even though Jim's not retired. It was good. It was real sad to see Cowboy lose and have to go out like that, but I was happy I didn't see him get knocked out cold and take super damage like we've seen him in the past 10 fights. He just hasn't really been on the good side of him. Yeah, it was a pretty competitive fight, and I think Donald should be proud in himself and content in his movie career and whatever awesomeness in his future, because he's going to be doing some pretty awesome stuff. Cowboy's a daredevil. He's an adrenaline junkie. He just seems like an overall good guy, family guy. Loves the big camps. Loves to have lots of people around on the ranch helping out, training, building, doing whatever, eating, cooking, having good times, being family. That's what I hope he finds happiness in that. And yeah, thanks again, Cowboy, for the awesome fucking catalog of highlights, performance bonuses, short notice fill-ins, welterweight, lightweight. Tip my hat to you, sir. Round of applause for Donald Cowboy Cerrone, who retires last night after suffering a guillotine submission tap out loss to Jim Agent Miller. Next up, we have Jalen Turner versus Brad Riddell. And wow, that's all I'm going to say for this one. It's like I'm going to say a little bit more, but I got to start off with just saying, wow, 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 wow. So I honestly thought this would be closer than it was. And Brad Riddell, don't get me wrong, Brad's no slouch, if you don't know. And Jalen, the Tarantula Turner, made it look easy. He lands a big right hand, barely misses a head kick. Then he follows it up with a left uppercut as Brad's level changing on him. Lands it. Then he leads straight into the choke sequence where after he slides into mount and gets that full leverage on the neck, Brad has no choice but to tap. Super, super impressive. Unfortunate for Brad. It was a super fast finish. The fight was over as soon as it started. It was crazy. And Brad's a top level lightweight, so if this guy finished him like that, you can definitely expect to see Jalen Turner fighting a top 10 contender next. And super impressive, like I said. Probably going to get performance of the night, maybe. Definitely fastest finish of the night, that's for sure. And yeah, props to Jalen Turner. He's one to look out for. Got that one right. And then we have the unfortunate no contest between Sean O'Malley and Pedro Munoz. So this was a super unfortunate ending. I was getting the feeling, though, Pedro was on his way to winning a decision. Seemed he won the first round with the kicks. And Sean looked to be getting maybe a little frustrated, constantly feinting, trying to draw out mistakes by Pedro by just feigning over and over. But his output wasn't there in terms of actual strikes, and he wasn't taking enough chances to close the gap Pedro was starting to create. And the eye poke, it did kind of look suspect. Looked like his eye actually closed. A lot of times when you get poked in the eye or anything hits you in the eye, you'll react and close it almost before you actually take full-on contact, which is what it looked like from the first glance of the replay. I could be wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong. But yeah, and it was just kind of suspect that Pedro, it seemed kind of odd that they're seemingly like super close at this point in the fight. Like, who knows who's winning at this point, but Pedro's definitely doing damage with the kicks. Sean hasn't really landed anything significant yet. And Pedro's like, yeah, I need to, it's a second time. Like he's trying to like force a disqualification win. Like he thought maybe that he could win if the fight stopped there. But I think whoever's in charge sniffed that out real quick. They said, no, we're going to do no contest. Because I heard them say if it stops now, they're going to go to the judges' scorecards. And if it did, based on the amount of strikes landed, Pedro probably would have won. But, yeah, it would have been interesting to see how that played out. I picked Sean O'Malley. He's a heavy favorite because I just thought the confidence and the skill would be enough. But as I started to see the fight play out, yeah, it seemed like Pedro had him hesitant, way too hesitant. He wasn't engaging enough to be able to win any of those rounds in the first two. And yeah, so that's my opinion. I think if we see that fight again, I don't know why Pedro quit so easily. I mean, I truly think he could beat Sean with one eye. Many fighters fight with one eye. I'm not saying that would have been smart, but you know, for someone such a dog as Pedro against such a cocky young fucking guy trying to take his spot, man, it would have been nice to see some more grit shown from Pedro. But you know, who knows? Maybe he really was seeing black, and can't fault him for that because Nobody wants to fucking fight who they can't see. So I didn't get credit for that one. Not a win or loss because it was a no contest. And moving on, we have Robbie Lawler versus Bryan Barberena. Oh my God, this had to be fight of the night. I picked Bryan Barberena to win, and I got it right. But man, Robbie was looking good out there at first. I found myself rooting for Robbie, even though I picked Bryan Barberena because he had the youth, the hunger, and the durability to go toe-to-toe with ruthless Robbie Lawler and end up victorious. And that takes a lot of skill, a lot of toughness, and, a lot of overall well-roundedness and conditioning. I think Bryan threw 3 kicks, and Robbie may have fainted one. This was basically bare-knuckle boxing with 4-ounce gloves on. It was super tough watching Robbie take those shots at the end. He's such a legend, goes without saying. And I'm not as keen on seeing him retire as I was with Cowboy, but it would have been nice to see him hang it up after that. Because who knows, maybe the next one he gets put to sleep, knocked out cold. And I don't think any true UFC hardcore fans want to see that happen. But Bam Bam, he's a problem, man. This guy can eat everything you throw at him and just outlast you. It's going to take some wrestling and jiu-jitsu to beat this guy in the future, because you can hit him with the kitchen sink, you can hit him with fucking Lucille from Walking Dead, and this dude, he's coming forward. He's not backing up. If you don't separate him from consciousness, you're going to get hit with shots, overwhelmed with volume. Great variety, going to the body, going to the head, mixing in elbows, step in elbows. Beautiful, beautiful. It looked like in the first round it looked like it was kind of for show. Nothing really happened. He just staying in Robbie's face with that constant movement, not too much power behind it. But in the second round, he just bit down and said, "You know what? I'm not moving back anymore." And he just started fucking finding success in every shot. And hats off to Robbie. What a fucking warrior, man. He was looking good. He was looking fresh. In that first round, DC was like, oh my God, Robbie is looking amazing right now. And it's true, he was. He really was. He looked like he was starting to leave a gap between him and Bryan. But yeah, great fight by both gentlemen. And then next we have Sean Strickland versus Alex Pereira. Pereira wins. I think it was the first round. This sucks because my TV froze up or something, and I missed the finish. But I turned it back on. I just see the highlight or the replay of Sean getting knocked out. Sean came out looking pretty aggressive, offensive, moving forward. Seemed to be getting the better of the exchanges. It seemed like he was trying to get a read for Pereira, but Pereira was just lulling him to sleep, making him think there's nothing to worry about. And as soon as he caught him lacking, he just fucking set his feet, put so much torque and speed and viciousness into that left hook, and just fucking put Sean on skates. And then that follow-up shot with a straight right to the chin just put him to sleep on his way down already. He just, for good measure, made him take the second nap. Then he woke up from on impact with the canvas. But oh my God, it was beautiful. And this guy is so fucking dangerous. It's ridiculous. Props to Sean Strickland for giving him the opportunity. Not even a ranked top 15 contender, and Sean gives him his number 4 slot, which is really something special because Alex Pereira has beat Izzy twice, and now it's been agreed on after the fights, after Izzy won, he accepted it. He called him out and hey Poha, he said, yeah, I'm gonna leave you on skates, and he had those shiny nails and yeah, French tips, whatever. Yeah. And so yeah, that's something to look forward to. It's gonna be awesome because, in my opinion, Jared Cannonier, like I said in the picks video, he had to use a full MMA game to win, and he did have some success in the clinch, but I think he should have started from the get-go there and tried to rack up control time, doing more damage in that clinch where he had lots of control, but not much damage at all. And that's, I think, what really made him lose the fight, because on the feet, Izzy was just, being Izzy, being a professor, a sniper, an expertise in striking and movement and range. And it was crazy. But anyway, we're still on the Pereira fight, and I picked Alex, got the win there, and looking forward to seeing him fight for the title. It's going to be great because, like I said, we haven't seen someone with an all-around MMA game beat Izzy yet, besides Jan, and that was a light heavyweight. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Pereira's striking can be so good that he can beat Izzy in the striking. And then it'd be interesting to see a wrestler come take the belt from him right after he takes it from Izzy, in my opinion. Did I predict the future? I don't know, but anyway, we're past 20. We're trying to keep it under 25, guys. Sorry, let me speed it up. Alexander Volkanovski versus Max Holloway. Alexander wins unanimous decision. It was a beautiful performance. I mean, Volk is on a different level here. I thought the fight might be stopped because the cut was just so gruesome and so wide open. The guy's Q-tip was literally hiding inside. He had it inside Holloway's fucking skull. Ugh. Yeah, that was bad. That was hard to watch. And it was right over the eye, so the blood was right in his eye. And Max just looked a step behind, man. His speed was slower than Alex. Alex looked superbly confident, indestructible almost, invincible almost. He looked like he was just on point through and through. He really set himself apart in the Korean Zombie fight. I mean, he just looked levels and levels ahead. And now he puts the seal on the third fight with Max. No more debate. No more calling Max the uncrowned champ. That talk is dead. If Max would have won, maybe they would have had a best 5 out of 10 or whatever it is. But he didn't, and it's over. It's put to bed. And it's interesting to see what Max does in the future. But I gotta say, hats off to Volkanovski, because this guy is a fucking monster. He's a little Tasmanian devil on amphetamines. That's what Joe Rogan said. He's a pit bull on amphetamines. Perfect analogy for him, because he's just a little ball of will, muscle, technique, and courage, and grit, and conditioning as well. Guy does not get tired, which is crazy. They said not many people can carry that kind of power for so long, and Volkanovski's one who's able to do it. Okay, so we got that one right, Alexander. And then in the main event, we had Israel Adesanya versus Jared Cannonier. I picked Izzy to win, and he wins. It was a pretty close fight, pretty good back and forth action. Jared had some success, but overall, Izzy just won it with great technique, great range, picking his shots, landed a lot more damage. He looked seemingly untouched at the end of the fight. Jared, I like Jared. I was hoping he'd win, but, my gut told me Izzy had this one in the bag. And Izzy had a goated walkout. He came out to the Undertaker's music and walk out carrying a jar for ashes that said Jared on it. He definitely tried everything he could, ticked every box to possibly shake Jared Cannonier. The walkout was so long, Izzy stood there for like a full minute, just letting Jared stew and all that pressure and spotlight, and really took his time coming out. I don't think it affected Jared, but yeah, you could tell Jared kind of, after the first round, you could tell he kind of knew this was going to be hard. And then by the fourth round, he's like, you know what, I probably lost. Let me just try to safely go for broke. He should have risked more, in my opinion. He should have just went for the kill. Reckless. Who cares if you lose at this point? You just went 4 rounds. Maybe won one of them. Probably not, though. So, yeah, it was a good fight. And we went 9-2. I'll show you guys the up close so you know I'm not lying. And first we'll get to the bonus. How many total strikes will be landed in the main event? I said 333. The final was 304. So we did pretty good on the bonus too. Pretty close. But here we go. Here's the proof. Here's the proof, guys. In case you want to start betting on my picks, you know they're decent. I always do better than 50%. Past couple times I have been doing really good. See that? 9-2. See, I missed Jessica Rose Clarke. Then I got Macy Barber right. I got Andre Muniz right. I got Ian Gary right. I got Brad Tavares wrong. Jim Miller right. Jalen Turner right. Sean O'Malley no contest. Brian Barberena correct. Alex Pereira correct. Volkanovski correct. Izzy correct. So I went 9-2, and there is, you can't really see it, but 333 bonus, and the total was 304. Sorry guys, it's gonna get more professional. Next month I'm getting a new laptop where I can edit these videos and make it a more professional production, because my Chromebook now is kind of shit. So right now this is the best I can do, but be patient because I'm gonna teach myself how to make this a better channel. And like and subscribe. We're definitely hitting a valley, but who cares? We're big fans of MMA and UFC and movies and TV. So check out Foeonthefights, the Rock Bottom show, where I talk about crazy fucking stories from my past when I was on the wagon or whatever, off the wagon, whatever that saying is. I was doing crazy shit. But thanks for watching, guys. That was the recap of UFC 276, Adesanya versus Cannonier. And that was my prediction review. 9-2. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe.